Why do you think there is this stigma around when a model would introduce as a model?
I'm fine with rejection as well. Like if I don't get a job or something, I don't take it personally and think like, oh, there must be something wrong with me. I just feel like it just didn't have my name on it. So I'm fine with, just before I got booked to do the Charlotte Tilbury campaign, I was like, I am out. As opposed to doing e-commerce and stuff like that, where you're just like, it's like so draining. So when I was on set, there was like something in the energy, you know, Joan Collins was there and Charlotte Tilbury with her whole family. Like Joan Collins is a huge star, so I was like, the energy was so amazing, you know. The last shot that we did was the cover, and then I remember somebody saying we were running out of time, what's new on a shoot. We were going into overtime or something, and then they were like, okay, this needs to be perfect because this is for the cover. My main focus in my life hasn't been my job, it's been me working on myself, and that's why it's really important for me to take the time out to, like, if I need to, because I think I've had bigger goals in life where I'm like trying to get myself from one point to another as a human being.
And go.
Oh my God, we've started our first ever video podcast really unprofessionally because of phones.
Yeah. Is it school rules? Should phones be away? And go.
Oh my God.
Look at us.
We've made it into an actual studio.
We have. I feel so professional. How about you guys?
Very profesh. Yes.
Profesh.
You said you guys, we didn't introduce our guest.
Yeah.
And can I just point out that we've got our phones. We look really unprofessional right now.
Are we doing school rules? Are the phones to be away?
Well, no, I think they can be here, but I think if they're distracting our guest, are they distracting?
They're not distracting me.
Okay.
I'm fine. Keep your phones out.
Okay.
I'm like the teacher.
You're the teacher. You're in the middle.
You are in the main swivel chair. I always used to get a bit jealous of teachers, you know, when they had the nice swivel chair at the front and then you had the plastic chairs behind the desks.
Really?
No. It was just an observation to bridge the gap.
Jealous of
The
the
squibbly
teachers.
chair.
Yeah, that's weird. I've never heard that in my life.
Yeah,
I felt sorry for them.
You felt sorry for the
Aw.
teachers?
They always felt really lonely and like lost, and everyone was teasing them, and everyone was taking the piss out of them
I
and
used to
stuff.
feel really bad about that.
Yeah.
Were you guys ever teasers at school?
Yeah.
I was.
I
Yeah,
was.
me
I
too.
was so bad, guys. I used to get kicked out of class.
So did I.
Really?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Detention.
I'd like get kicked out of class, be told to stand outside, and then I would pretend, if I'd see another teacher, I'd pretend that I'm like doing something. I'd be like, oh, I've just been sent out to get more paper for the printer, but really I'm like...
Oh, so you lied to the other teachers?
Yeah,
you
it was
get
bad.
Double detention. Naughty.
Double
Yeah.
detention.
I was naughty, a bit naughty.
Just a little bit.
Only
Wouldn't
in, like,
expect
year
it as well.
10.
Wouldn't expect it from
Year
you.
10. I
Year
started to
10,
let
just
loose a little bit.
specifically year 10.
Yeah.
No other year, just year 10.
I was quite a goody two-shoes until year 10, then I was like, right, I've had enough.
Absolute rebel. Says the woman with angel written
That's
on
to
her
remind
arm.
me to be
calm
in
down.
Keeping yourself in check.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
So just in case anyone was in any sorts of doubts, this is alcohol.
No, it's not.
Vodka.
Vodka. We haven't introduced our guest
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
We are
Yeah.
framing her in a very interesting
We are.
light.
This is Shivani Sharma. Did I say it correctly?
You did.
Yeah, I
It's
should
been
do.
about
I've
10
known you
years
for about
that
10
we've been
years, so I
friends.
shouldn't have to say your name by now.
Correctly.
She is.
What am I? A model? Ugh, I don't know why I hate saying
This is
that.
How do you introduce yourself when you
I
meet
guess
people?
I'm a model.
Do you say I guess I'm a model when I meet people?
No, I'm like, I don't say like I'm a model. When they ask me what I do, I say I model. So it's not like my whole identity.
That's
I'm
a
like,
nice
I
way
model.
of phrasing it.
Because I do
actually.
like different things, or like I have more of a life than just modeling. But I think most people know me as a model, so I am Shivani, and I'm a model.
You're a model. Or you model.
I model.
You model. You do other stuff too.
Yeah. I have a life
But
outside of modeling.
If we looked at your pictures, we'd probably
modelling.
say that's
That's
pretty
what I put out
full-time.
there. Yeah. Full
Yeah.
time.
Do you do that because you're embarrassed of saying that you're a model?
What do I do? What, just
Say
introduce
it.
myself?
Yeah. Say it.
I used to
I
be
model.
a little bit embarrassed. Yeah, I'd be like, oh gosh, there's so much more to me than just being a model. I struggled with that a bit at the beginning, but now I just feel like there is so much more to me than just that. So I'm like, oh, I shouldn't just identify myself as a model. But yeah, but I am. That is my job.
What more is there to you?
Like my hobbies, my interests, like spending time with people, like my family, traveling, loads of things.
A life of leisure. Life of pure leisure.
It's beautiful.
Love it. I love that life.
Why do you think there is this stigma around when a model would introduce herself as a model? Where has that come from?
I think it started a long time ago.
Yeah, because we've
Yeah.
had this conversation before. We've had guests before who are a model, and we've spoken about the way that they introduce themselves, and that there is this stigma that they do feel a bit embarrassed, and I wonder where that comes from.
I feel like for me personally, it's because I don't know if it's so much like this now, but it used to be that they were maybe like dumbed down a little bit, like, oh, she's just a pretty face.
Sure.
So then for me, and I I loved my education and I went to uni and got my degree and everything. When I went into modelling, you don't necessarily need a degree to model. You need to have your wits about you and be smart on set and like with people and all that stuff if you want to do really well. But you don't need like that much of an education to be able to like perform well in front of the camera, I guess.
Okay.
So for me, that's where the embarrassment came from, because I like loved my education and I wanted to go on and do more. I still do. So I was just like, oh gosh, I hope people don't just box me in and think, oh, she's just like pretty and she poses in front of a camera.
Right.
Because there's so much more to me than that.
Yeah, of course.
But don't you think that people will see you and think automatically anyway, she's pretty, she probably is a model?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and you're tall as well, so it's kind of like the double-edged prom of like,
I mean,
my God, I'm tall and I'm pretty. Oh my God, woe betide me.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
I'm so conscious of like not complaining about it, because I'm like, people are probably thinking like, what is she moaning about exactly? But I guess it's just the being introduced thing. I'm just like, I'm model. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Just casual.
Just
Plus, like I do try and quit every year. So
yes, you do. Yes, you do. You do. So talk us. Okay, so what should we do first? Should we talk about what you've done? Should we talk about where you started, or should we talk about
it's up to you.
Why you quit?
Why
you quit?
So many different
things we can take right now.
I think, should we start at the beginning?
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. Chronological.
Let's keep it chronological.
Marcus wants to mix it
Oh,
up.
you're not a fan of the chronologically?
It might get a bit boring, isn't it?
Whatever
I know no one knows anything about you apart from your friends, family, or your fans, or your 10,000 followers. But if you're watching, you don't know who she is, then maybe they don't know anything about you. So maybe you're right. Yeah. Maybe they should tell. Yeah.
The cogs turned hard.
Maybe we should.
We can start chronologically, or I think the thing that I'm most interested in is why and how you want to quit each year.
Why I want to quit.
So you want to start at the end?
Yeah, can do.
Let's
go anti-chronologically.
Anti-chronologically? I don't think that's a word, but I love it. Let's do anti-chronologically.
Okay.
Okay. Why do you want to quit every year?
This is a big one.
I think Marcus knows, like being in this industry, it's like, I don't know. I feel like firstly I just get a bit, there's been points where I'm like a bit, I guess, bored, or because I've been doing it for like a long time.
How many years?
Over 10 years now.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm always like, oh, should I do like life, you know, I'm here living, like, should I just do something else and explore life a bit more? So, and it gets a bit repetitive, I guess, if you're working with the same brands over and over again. And I feel like there's only so much you can achieve with modelling if you're just modelling. For example, if you're doing e-coms and getting booked for e-coms like every week, you're literally putting clothes on, taking them off, putting them on, taking them off. And you just stood there and I'm thinking, oh, I could be doing so much more with my life than just this. So I guess that. But then every time I try and quit, like something huge comes along. And then my mum's like, "You're really going to quit now?" And then I'm like, "No, another year." It's just been going. And like
then that's been the cycle.
Yeah, and I do enjoy it, and I'm like very grateful for it. So I guess I'm grateful because I think it's like an amazing job, and you know, I get to manage my own schedule. It pays well, so I'm like, you know, I shouldn't complain and quit. Be ungrateful.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it comes down to your own personal preference, doesn't it? Your sensibilities. If you feel like this is an industry that's draining you rather than giving you. I know financially it's giving you, but I don't feel like it's rewarding you career-wise, does it?
Yeah, for me, I think it's a good foundation. I think now I'm going to start building off the foundation that modelling has given to me. I think it's been really good for like networking, meeting people and getting a lot of experience about everything to do with the industry. Like as a model, you get such an insight into like fashion, photography, starting your own brand, like I said, networking, makeup, like everything. So it's definitely built a good foundation. I'm grateful for that, but now I want to start venturing off and seeing like what other things I can do within the same industry.
So you want to stay
in the industry? I'm not leaving the industry.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave this now because I feel like I've built too much within it to leave now. You know,
it's a good life.
No
choices.
That's it. That's it. It's in the choices.
It's in the choices.
That's what's really nice.
Yeah.
Do you have choices like that?
Not right now, but I hope to. I really am looking forward to getting to that point where you can just, you know, like you say, you can manage your schedule, you can veer off into any sort of aspect of the industry that you would like. It's a life. It's a life.
It is a life.
How about yourself? You got those choices?
I do have those choices.
Yeah, you do, I feel.
Purely because we had this conversation so many times, and I feel like you get to a point with any job or any career, you're like, have I reached the peak? I know what they say. They say all political careers end in failure. So you should probably, it doesn't matter what you do, it's going to end in failure. So you should probably leave before, you know what I mean? Leave before the iron starts to get hot.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No, it's a really interesting way to look at it.
What's that line from The Dark Knight? You either live to see yourself become a villain, or you die early enough to see yourself become a hero or something like that.
Wow, that is interesting.
So, at some point, you're going to find your competition taking you over. And do you want to be there? Do you want to leave on a high so the competition never takes you over? Or do you want to have that competition come? Because it's going to happen. It happens to everyone, every career. Like, think of someone who's in the past, like Will Smith. Like Will Smith now has done that.
New drinking game. Every time Marcus mentions Will Smith on this podcast, take a shot.
Yeah.
Fuck 30 minutes in. There you go, here we go.
It's water. It's water.
It's alright, we're all friends here.
So yeah, I mean, you all get to a stage where you think you're the best, and then someone comes on, some young buck comes along.
Young buck
Comes along and takes your place. Are you scared of someone coming along and taking your place?
No, because I feel like there's pros to each, right? There's pros to being younger, being fresh, and being like, oh my god, it's like the new guy. But then there's also a lot of pros to having the experience, having like the, so I feel like if you've built enough of a name for yourself,
you should last forever.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, modelling, I guess, can't really last forever. But you as a brand can, right? Like if I started my own brand, and then that product or whatever service or whatever started doing really well, then why couldn't it last forever?
I like that.
No,
that's thinking.
That is incredible.
Transcending.
And I've worked with, I guess, younger models, like, and then they're like, the younger ones are like, that I don't find them to be like competitive or trying to step on your toes. They're always like, oh my god, this is exciting. Like I want to learn from someone older than me. And I was like that when I was younger. I was learning from the girls older than me.
I think you came to the industry at a very pivotal point where South Asian models were kind of on the rise.
Yeah.
I think you were one of the kind of forefront people who brought that to that level. I think in that sense, you've got a responsibility almost to help the younger generation into the industry, because I think a lot of people look up to you.
Oh, you do?
I don't know. I think they do, but do they?
I don't know. I guess maybe I do get the odd message here and there from girls that want to get into it, and they're like trying to ask for help and stuff. So I guess if that.
What advice do you tell them to just give up? That's why she's not scared of competition.
Try every year and then see what happens.
No, I think I give them sound advice. I always try my best to help them and like give them like look back and think, oh, like what would I have done differently, or how did I get into it, or how can they get their foot into the door, boost their confidence, which I think is the main thing, to be like, you can do anything that you want to do. I think that's the main thing.
I love that. Sorry, go on.
No, please.
No, I was just gonna say I love that because it being outside of the industry looking in, I imagine there's this narrative of sort of like quite competitiveness, bitchiness, but it's really nice to hear that within the model industry especially, that everyone's kind of giving a helping hand there. It's really nice.
Not everyone.
Not everyone.
For the most part.
I am. I'm trying, but I would. Yeah, not everyone.
That was so nice, guys.
That was nice.
No.
Disney.
That was Disney. Stop calling me Disney. I'm just trying to be optimistic in this world.
I love it.
So
you're definitely right.
Have you seen sort of the other side of the coin in that sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without naming names.
No.
There has been. Yeah, there's been girls that are just like that it's really sad. They have such a lack mindset where they're like, there's not enough and I need to keep hold of this. But the way that I'm programmed, I just don't work like that. I feel like there's enough for everyone, and I genuinely think, from the way that my experience has gone with my career, that whatever's supposed to be for you will be, and you can't no one else can take that, and if it's meant to be for someone else, then it's for them. That's how I've been throughout my whole career. And that's also why I'm fine with rejection as well. If I don't get a job or something, I don't take it personally and think oh, there must be something wrong with me. I just feel like it just didn't have my name on it. So I'm fine with if I don't get something and someone else gets it, I'm like, that's meant to be for them.
That's a very spiritual mindset.
It is really beautiful. It links to a previous episode that we discussed how your mindset really structures the foundation on your next steps and how you progress in professional, personal, whatever kind of industries, walks of life.
Yeah.
And I think that really is a testament to your success in the industry for sure.
Definitely. Sweet. So do you think that, because we kind of touched on it there with the spiritual thing, Kez as well touched on it as well. Yeah. Do you think that the reason why you take these little mini breaks, because you do take a lot of mini breaks out of the industry, just disappear for a while?
I just go. Don't post.
Just go. I think you just go. Like you just switch off completely.
Yeah, I do switch off.
Which is really cool. Do you think that's because it's not cool if you're trying to contact you, but it's cool.
It's not cool if you're trying to meet for like the last 4 months.
Yeah. It's not cool for that, but it's cool for yourself, personally, on a personal level. Does it give you a chance to reset and kind of just take in the universe and just kind of recharge your batteries?
Yeah, I'm always doing something in that time. Like I'm definitely like working on myself in a different way. I feel like I don't like to get burnt out, and you can get burnt out in this industry. I think it's good in this industry to take breaks as well, because then when you're back, it's like fresh and it's like, they've probably forgotten about you for a little while and they're like, oh yeah, she's here, and then everything just comes at once. So I like taking my breaks. I don't like to get overused. I feel like that can be not a good thing. I've seen that happen with girls in the industry where they've just said yes to everything. I've always been somewhat like a little bit more selective maybe. And then like in that time, I'm usually just like grounding myself and working on myself.
Wow. That's a very almost planned. You almost planned your...
I don't plan it, I just go with how I feel, like intuitively. If I feel like, it's all getting too much and like, I'm just like, okay, I'll just have a bit of a break, but then it might go on for like a few months, which is fine by me. Like I'm just coming out of one now. You know what I mean? I haven't been posting or anything. And now I'm like, okay, like you're ready. I feel like it now. So if I feel like it, I'll do it. If I don't feel like it, I won't do it.
Amazing.
What do you feel like what do you do in that time?
Took the question right out of my mouth.
What do you do in that time?
I guess I spend a lot of time with my family. I love spending time at home. Like I just do things that I enjoy, like that I feel like are good for my soul. Like things that I can't do when I'm traveling, like just simple things like cooking or like meditating or spending time with my cat or catching up with friends or family. And just being like resting as well, like just being easy on myself, just like chilling out, you know what I mean? Because you need to physically rest as well, or else you're just gonna run yourself into a wall. And like just taking pressure off myself.
Wow, that's such an LA lifestyle.
I like that lifestyle though. I think it's necessary. I think especially in London, in this whole rat race mentality, people are constantly working, grinding, trying to do the next thing. And it's not until you do have the time to take a break that you're like, fuck, I actually really needed this.
No, I'm not like that. I don't like the whole rat race thing.
Is that because, maybe this applies to you as well, Kez, is that because you weren't brought up in London?
No.
You were brought up in the Midlands?
Yeah.
So is that because you've come from that kind of, I don't know,
it's a bit more slower back there. I mean, I was born here, but then luckily, I moved there when I was really young.
Don't worry, we'll cut that out.
I love the Midlands. Keep that in. I love the Midlands. So yeah, I guess it's a bit more slow back there. But I was never really slow. Like growing up, I was always like, oh my God, like I want to move to like London, or I want to move to the States. I want to go to New York. I've always been like wanting to do bigger things, even from a really young age. But I guess being in the Midlands just like slowed me down a bit. I'm there right now, which is nice. And I've been there since I moved back from Dubai, and it is good because like there's not really much going on there, to be honest.
You're in a nice Midlands as well, so you've got the trees, the nature, the countryside,
nice walks.
So you your daily walk, so you can go into like London, do your thing, and then go back into the countryside, chill the hell out.
Nice escapism, that separation.
Yeah.
So talk to us. We're going what do you call it?
Anti-chronological. I can't say this word. I've tried.
Anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise.
Yeah.
I like that one. That's a modern.
Yeah,
that's an actual word.
That's an actual word. But I think this might catch on. Anti-chronological.
Anti-chronological.
It's a bit of a mouthful, but
it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
a
lot of syllables, but if you get it down, it'll be good.
Yeah.
So we're going to go anti-chronological.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. So you've got the year, you've got the moment that you're like, okay, this is it, and then the job comes through that keeps you in the industry. Give us an example of one of those jobs.
I guess just before I got booked to do the Charlotte Tilbury campaign, I was like, I am out. Like, I was like, I quit. I remember like pacing up and down in my living room with my mum with a cup of tea and being like, Mum, I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah, always a cup of tea.
Nice.
And I was like, I do not want to do this. That's true. About 5 a day. But yeah, basically I was like, Mum, I'm not doing it. Like, I was like, there's so much more to life. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. My mum was like, okay. She was like, I personally don't think you should quit, but if you want to, you can. Like, just do whatever you want to do. And then I think literally like within that week, maybe even like the next couple of days, I got a message from you and like other people saying about the Charlotte Tilbury campaign, which was huge for me. And I just think like it was quite big for Indian people.
Huge.
For
Absolutely
sure.
huge. It was so the situation was that we used to work together in my previous agency, and I started a new agency, which is BAME, and you were there for about, I don't know, 6 months, maybe a year. And then you went off and joined Lenice, I think. Yeah. And then you went to the squad from there. So you're still with the squad right now. Yeah. So Charlotte Tilbury contacted me. I don't know why they contacted me. And they were like, we want to book Shivani. I was like, they were like, do you know this girl? Actually, they were, do you know this girl? And they showed me a picture of you. I went, yeah, I know that girl. I know her. Disappearer. Disappearing girl. Yeah. So I contacted you. I'm like, hey, these guys want to work with you. You know, what's going on? Where are you? And you're like,
I was on a break.
Whatever. I might work with them. I never heard from you again. And then when we met up, you were like, oh yeah, I did that Charlotte Tilbury job. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. She's just she's a floater. Yeah. She's a floater.
I never letting them know your next move.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Don't let them know where you are.
Yeah.
Listen in. They can hear you all the time. So you came from the Charlotte Tilbury thing, and I was like, okay, so now you're going to do way more stuff. And I think you did do way more stuff after that. I think
it changed my whole life.
Absolutely. Why was you thinking of quitting at that point? Because was it because you weren't being as successful as you wanted to be, or was it because you just were bored?
No, I feel like I've always had good opportunities with modelling. Like, if I didn't, I just guess I wouldn't really be doing it. I've always had good opportunities, but I feel like I just thought, like, you remember when we were talking earlier about the embarrassment thing? I just felt like, oh, there's so much more to life. Like, I don't want this job to define me. Like, this can't be it. Like, I wanted to go on and do my master's. I wanted to go into law. There were so many things that I wanted to do. And like, I think it might have been a bit of a pride thing. Like, I pride myself on, like, you know, my education and wanting to, I don't know, like, do bigger things in the world. And then I thought, like, oof, is this like it? That's basically what I thought. And it just got repetitive. Like, I was constantly just working with the same brands, doing the same things. Like I said, the money was good, and like, it was, I got to manage my own schedule and stuff, so it was good. But yeah, I was just like, I can't, it's just a bit repetitive. So I thought, I'm going to quit. And then I got that, and then my mum was just like, you'd be really silly to quit now. And then like, things started getting a bit different. Like, I got even bigger opportunities, and you know, when I was on production for that job, I remember thinking, like, I feel alive, as opposed to doing e-commerce and stuff like that, where you're just like, it's like so draining. When I was on set, there was like something in the energy where I think it might have been because I was with such like, you know, Joan Collins was there, and Charlotte Tilbury with her whole family. Like, Joan Collins is a huge star, so I was like, the energy was so amazing, you know. And then I looked, and it was like such a big production, the cameras, everything. Like, Charlotte Tilbury's there, she walks in, and I was just like, you know what, like, this is living. Like, I feel alive. And then I think I got some more fulfillment out of my job, and then I thought, okay, like, if it's going to be like this going forward, then I'm going to stay.
So tell us, how did you get the cover of Tatler magazine?
Okay, so Tatler was a bit of a boring one. I feel like my agency, they were just like, there's a shoot, and they didn't even know it was the cover. They were like, there's a shoot for Tatler magazine. It's an editorial. It's going to be good. They told me the amount of pages, and obviously pages are good, especially if you want to go to the States or something. Like, that's always been on my mind. Like, I could go to the States. You have to, for the visa, get a certain amount of
I didn't know that.
Pages. They actually make you photocopy or like scan each page. It's either pages, call sheets, or something else. Website shots, like a screenshot, God. Yeah, so pages for me were good. So I was like, okay, so I literally thought, this is cool, it's Tatler, like, it's a good magazine, and it's good to be in it, but I didn't know it was the cover. my agency, I swear my agency didn't know it was the cover until I got onto set. And then we did the whole day. I did the whole day with Tatler. It was so much fun. And then the last shot that we did was the cover. And then I remember somebody saying, okay, like this, we were running out of time what's new on a shoot. Yeah. We were going into overtime or something. And then they were like, okay, this needs to be perfect because this is for the cover. And then like, I asked everyone really slowly. I was like, is this a cover shoot? And then they were like, yeah, like this is the cover shot. And then that was it.
Wow.
How did you feel it? Sorry, no, go for it.
I don't know if they decided on set.
I think they probably decided on set.
I think they maybe decided on set and thought, actually, this will be good for the cover.
I think your agency would have said.
Yeah, they couldn't have
been
not communicated that to your agency for sure.
Yeah.
How did you feel in that moment? Like you were on a shoot, none the wiser that you were going to be on the cover of Tatler magazine. In the moment that you found out, how was that?
I was like, I feel like I was really excited. Definitely, I was like, whoa, like this is going to be really cool. But with our industry, the thing is like, until I never believe it until I see it. Until the magazine's in my hand and it materializes and I can see my face on the cover, anything can go wrong. The amount of times in my career where I'm supposed to do something, I've had huge opportunities and then it just never worked out at the last minute, like literally the 11th hour.
It's embarrassing as well. You tell your friends and family, I want to be on the cover of Tatler.
That's why I don't tell anyone anything. People are like, oh, you're so secretive, you did this, you did that. I'm like, no, because we just don't know if it's going to ever come out. So I've done loads of things which would have been life-changing, and I've like given myself that hope, and then it hasn't materialized. So with the cover, I was just like, we'll see. We'll see if it gets on the cover. It wasn't until I was in WH Smith and I saw myself, and then I was like, okay, yeah, now I can.
It's happened. WH Smith as well.
I know. What a location for this pivotal moment.
At Wolverhampton train station.
Oh my god. It gets worse.
Iconic.
With my two little cousins. I was like, oh, great.
They were like,
they were so excited.
I was going to say, what was
so
that
excited.
Like? Were they young or?
They're young to me. They're 20, 21.
So they understand the gravity of this.
Yeah, they were hilarious. The two funniest people to take with you when you want to cover a magazine. Because I don't talk to my family about anything about my job. I don't tell them anything, hardly.
Why not?
I don't know. I just feel like
I do the same thing. I don't know why I do it.
For me, I do it because I like to be just like, I feel normal within my family. I don't want them to treat me any different way. I just like them to treat me how I am.
Do you think it's that? Because when we're doing a little pre-show bants, Kez complimented you, and I could see you
get awkward.
You crushed inside.
You went internal,
I get really awkward.
Oh, shut up, Kez.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You're just a bit beautiful, that's all.
Yeah, no, I get really awkward. I don't like people. I feel like I just get embarrassed.
Is it because you don't like the compliment, or is it because you don't know how to react to the compliment?
I feel like...
Because I like compliments, but I don't know how to react to them. You don't want to sound arrogant.
Yeah, I'm very aware
in your head you're thinking, yeah, I'm great. No, but you don't want to say it.
I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself as well. And I think, I could... Yeah, like when people are like, you did this and you did that, I feel like I could have done so much more.
Wow.
Yeah, I put a lot of pressure on myself.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually think I could have done more. So when people say, you did this, you did that, I almost feel like, oh gosh, like, don't.
Wow. So you're almost thinking, a lot of pressure on
myself.
Yeah, it's fine, but I want more.
Not that I want more, just that I know that I have
capacity to
do a lot more. Okay. And I always beat myself up thinking like, you should be doing more, you could be doing more, you could have done more. So I put a lot of pressure on myself. So when people compliment me, I'm like, I think I've got this thing that I need to like work on, where I want everything to be so perfect and great. Doesn't mean that like, I don't know.
I love that. Many people want to say that. Many people want to go, I want things to be perfect. I want to personally be perfect.
Yeah,
and do more.
I push myself a lot.
I love that.
I'm like really militant on myself.
Shy away from saying it, and they may think that. And I think the fact that you think it and verbalise it suggests that that's the reason why you're so successful.
Ooh, am I? There you go. I'm like, I'm not even successful.
It's like it's like seeing two different people.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, I put a lot of pressure on myself. I appreciate that I've done all right.
Done all right.
She's done all right. She's only on the cover of Tatler magazine.
Just takes breaks when she wants.
Yeah, she's good.
Just drinks tea at home 5 times a day. It's
and
easy
other things.
Yeah, and other things. So we kind of spoke through them. What else have you done? You know, Charlotte Tilbury, then Tatler, then ASOS.
Yeah, I've done ASOS a bit. Yeah.
What else have you done?
Did a bit of ASOS. In India, I guess like the Indian stuff I've done Sabyasachi, which I know that a lot of Indian people are like, whoa, that's big for our Indian community, and it's cool, like such a cool brand. It was really cool for me as well on the personal level.
Designer, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So for me, I was like, whoa, like this is cool.
Were you living in India at that time?
Yeah, but I'd flown back to the UK, and then for the campaign,
You went back.
I went back just to
How
shoot
was
that.
it? How long did you live in India for?
I was living there. I've lived on and off in Mumbai for like 3 months, then 3 months, and 6 months. And then like I'll just go for direct bookings as and when.
Is it different culture, different land, different? Obviously, it's different culture, different land. But does it feel completely alien to?
Not completely alien, because I feel like the industry is just the same everywhere. I feel like
really?
like that clique. There's always a clique. Like there's always like the same people that you'll see over and over again. That happens whether you're in Dubai, Mumbai, wherever. There's always like the same people of the industry. So, but yeah, as a country, it was a massive culture shock. Not in the way that you would think as well, because when I was younger, we used to go to Punjab a lot. That's where I'm from originally, and every summer or something, my mum would take us and we'd go and spend time with family. So there's me when I went to India thinking that Mumbai would be like Punjab, and it's not. It's completely not. I got the shock of my life. I was like, I can't keep up. They're just so advanced. Like they thought that because I'd come from London that I would be like, oh my God, guys, let's party, let's drink, let's go out. And I'm like there with my tea. Like
fourth one of the day.
My fourth one, of the day, being like, guys, like I can't keep up. I don't know. We don't do this. I'm from the Midlands.
They're like, what was that?
Yeah, they just think you're from London if you're from the UK. So I was like, guys, I can't. Like, we don't do this. Like, I don't. I mean, I travel and stuff. I do have like I'm always like doing something, but like. I don't know, when I'm grounded. So I just didn't think they would be so advanced. Like as soon as my first job, I'd noticed everybody on set, they had like people had like coloured hair, tattoos. They were like effing and blinding. They were like smoking a joint like between
What were you
shots.
expecting?
I thought they'd be a bit more like traditional. Honestly, I did.
Traditional.
Yeah, like I thought they'd be like, because my experience of India is Punjab, which apparently is also really advanced now.
Okay.
Not to bash it, I mean, it's amazing. I love Mumbai. You can get addicted to it. Like when you go there, you're like, oh my God, it's so different to UK, but very different to what I expected.
So you wanted something a bit more calm, more low key.
No, I'm happy with what I got. It just wasn't what I was expecting.
Okay, so party and swearing.
Yeah, I'm not that much of a partier anymore. Yeah.
You never were?
Do you not think so? I was before I met you.
Were you?
I used to go out a lot when I was like at uni.
Did you know?
And sixth form.
Okay,
I was
your
like
tea flask.
not with my tea.
No?
That
Oh,
tea,
something
that
else.
kettle was not on.
Something else was in the
Something else was
flask.
inside.
You know,
Something else was in that tea.
Nice.
I used to go out.
So
and
here's a
party.
story that you don't know. So when you were TMP, my first agency,
Yeah.
I was like, this industry's bullshit,
Oh.
and I'm gonna quit this shit. And then I saw Shivani, I was like, I'm in. I'm staying in. I'm staying in the game. Because
What?
this is my greatest find. And she has been. She has been my greatest find.
I'll
like
cry.
she's absolutely blown up. And, Tatler cover and Charlotte Tilbury and 1,000 other brands as well. But at the time I was like, because without naming names, how the Asian industry in the UK
Yes, I know.
is slightly rough around the edges.
To say the least.
To say the
Really?
least. There's a lot of underpaid
Just
jobs
silly, yeah.
and all, so many politics and
Yeah.
just nonsense. So, and obviously I'm not South Asian as well, so I was working primarily in the South Asian industry, and I was like, I didn't want to show my face because like if they find that I'm black, they're probably not gonna. So I wasn't on socials anywhere, so I kind of just kept myself in the background.
Right.
But at that time I was like, oh, I'm so done with this industry. I'm so done with it. And then Shivani was there, and I was like, I'm back in.
Oh,
I'm
That's
back.
incredible.
Yeah. So she is the
pivotal moment.
She's a pivotal moment.
Wow.
She's
And
a
you were for
superstar.
me as well.
I think
You
so.
were,
Without,
yeah. You
without
were,
make myself
because
my head
I
big.
was like with my model agency from Nottingham, which were like really small, who had like originally scouted me, and at the time I was just at uni, so I was like, they were like, oh, you can do jobs for people doing their final year projects, and it will pay like, I don't know, £100 or something. So I was like, whoa, this is so good. At the time I remember I was working like a little job on minimum wage, and
What
I
job
was
you
like,
working in?
I can't remember. I feel like I started working when I was really young. When I was really, really, really young, like 13, I was doing a paper round.
What?
Yeah.
It's illegal. No, that's not illegal.
No, you can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
paper
you can do
rounds at that
yeah.
age.
Yeah, I fully because my background is just my mum, right, who raised me. So I worked really hard when I was little.
We'll come back to that. I like that.
But really hard. So basically that, and then I started working at the Molyneux football stadium in Wolverhampton. They put me in the boardroom, which was really weird because they put like the pretty girls there because that's where the players come in. So I'd meet football players like all the time, and so bad. Looking back now, I didn't have the awareness at the time to understand why I was put in that room. But looking back now, I'd just constantly be getting hit on by all these like huge players, which is like I guess like because they're like the biggest players, right? Like from that are coming because they all have to play each team, don't they? So you'd get like Manchester, Liverpool, all these, which would be, I guess girls would find it cool, but I didn't. I just found it like gross.
What were you doing? What was your job?
I was a waitress.
A waitress.
So I was waitressing in the boardroom. So I'd meet like everyone.
And you got hit on by the footballers.
Yeah, you get hit on all the time.
Oh,
and
problematic.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was young, like
16.
Yeah, probably. And then I went to uni and stuff.
They didn't know that.
No, I'm
They
sure.
probably did.
That's probably. I'm trying to give them an out, but I can't give them an out.
They were drunk, to be honest. They would be.
It was a different time as well. Like
Yeah, a
before
different
the Me
time.
Too movement, so it's probably like we're gonna get away with this.
Yeah, probably. But then I had that, and then I joined when I joined my agency, and they were paying like for me to come to Nottingham or wherever to do these end of year projects, I was like, whoa, like the money's, at that time I thought that money was good because I was a student, right, and struggling. So I was like, okay, cool, like this is good, £100 to shoot like for like a few hours. So I did it, but it wasn't until I signed with you that I feel like I really started to take it seriously, because it was at that moment where I had the choice whether to like really carry on with my education or go into like a corporate job, like a grad job, or to carry on modelling, and then with you, like I carried on.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to shout out the agency. They were model students.
Yeah, model students, so sweet. And mother and daughter, so nice.
Oh wow.
Yeah, mother and daughter.
Very cool. And they cater towards students, I think all across the UK as well. So they're very cool. I don't know if they're still going, but they're a very cool agency.
So sweet.
But yeah, when you joined up, it was very much like a case of like, I was like, because TNP was primarily South Asian, so we didn't really have connections to the mainstream. I was always like, she's going to be huge, she's going to be mainstream. So it was always that kind of thing where we weren't quite in that industry. Yeah. So I was pushing you towards the South Asian clients.
Yeah.
And I went to go and see a fashion show that you did in, it was like Tottenham Court Road area. I think your first ever fashion show. And I was like, that's the only fashion show I've really been to. I was like, I need to go and see her. I need to go and see her. So I went down there just to see you, and I left.
Oh wow! No way.
But yeah, no, I could tell that you were going to be huge. And then when you blew up, I was like, that's my girl.
Oh, you've always been there.
I have.
You have. You've always been there for me.
I've always
yeah.
Bringing it back.
But I remember somebody saying on set that you don't really shoot people when they come into the studio, or you haven't for a long time. Yeah. But then we came down, and I was really nervous. Oh God, that was the first time. That was the first time that anyone had ever shot me, or like, I don't know if it was the first time that anyone had shot me, or like somebody like you, because I guess I'd been doing final year projects for students, so they would book student models to shoot for students that are doing their final year project.
Yeah, you didn't have many pictures.
No, nothing. He did my whole portfolio, but like it was like scary for me. And I remember a girl going before me, and you didn't shoot her, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to be shot by the woman that's shooting that model. Yeah. And then she left, and I think she told me that you don't shoot anyone, so she found that a bit strange. And he came walking down or something with your camera, and I was so nervous. And I think you gave me a bit of advice. You were like,
nervous,
yeah, I was. You were like, just to keep leaning on like one hip to the other one, and then and then like still do that to this day.
Oh my God!
What? Between each click, I'm like, yeah, what else can you do?
Marcus told me to lean from each hip.
Marcus told me not to smile.
What else did you say in those shoots? Do you remember?
I remember because we didn't have much of an interaction.
Yeah.
Because
was it just immediately sort of like quick chat shoot?
It was it was kind of like quick chat shoot, and I think you were really intimidated, so you were quite reserved as well.
Yeah.
At that moment.
I was scared.
So we didn't really, and then after that we didn't really see each other because you were in the Midlands, and we talked via email and that.
And I travel a lot as well.
I remember we did another shoot like a couple of years after that at my flat at the time, and we shot with Hassan Leary, and those got published in Pakistan. I forgot what it was for. OK Magazine, I think it was.
That was cool.
It was very cool. So you kind of started from like humble beginnings from your lovely mother.
Yeah.
How was it just having your mother looking after you as opposed to having a two-parent? Do you think that's made you into who you are today, a really determined person?
I feel like, yeah, maybe. I feel like because we struggled growing up financially with my mom, I was always like, I took on the role of being like, I have to look after this woman. So I was like, I have to make it. Like, I have to make it for my mom. That was always in me. And then my masculine energy's been really high throughout my life. So now when I go on my little breaks, that's definitely something I work on, like trying to balance it out and just feeling like, you know how I put all the pressure on myself to be like, oh, I'm still not doing good enough. That's where that comes from, unfortunately.
Okay.
So I'm always like, oh, I could be doing better. Like I haven't, you know, I need to like do better.
So it's from the financial aspect or from the masculine energy aspect?
In everything, I guess. I feel like it just comes from a place of wanting to look after her financially in every way. It's kind of weird because what happens in those situations is like the roles reverse a little bit. So I've almost become like a mother for her in a way where I'm like, I have to like change her life. Like I have to make sure she's okay. And that's
Does she know that?
I think
she probably feels exactly the same.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she does. My mum's been amazing. She's been so good. But yeah, she probably does feel it. But she knows I put a lot of pressure on myself. But yeah.
Have you ever had the conversation with her of sort of like how you feel? Maybe not to the extent that we're talking about here, because you just mentioned that she doesn't know.
Yeah.
But have you ever spoken about sort of setting those boundaries, or not setting those boundaries, but having boundaries there for sort of your role in your relationship, her role in your relationship, and so on?
Yeah, I feel like we have had conversations, but it's more of a me thing. Like I just want to look after her. Whereas like mum's never put pressure on me to do anything. She's been such a good mum. Like she's always been like really just given us everything we would ever need. So like, yeah, I feel like it's just a me thing. I think my sister's a little bit the same as well.
Sister's younger, older?
Older.
Yeah. Do you think who's more similar to your mum, you or your sister?
I don't know. I feel like we're both quite different to our mum. But people think I'm quite similar to her. I think in like my mannerisms and the way that I don't know.
Carry yourself.
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting. Very interesting. So I always feel like if you come from a single parent family, you can go one of two ways.
Yeah.
You could be really determined, really, really overachieving, put a lot of pressure on yourself as well, and feel like you have, especially if you're a woman, have that masculine energy that your father was meant to give you.
Yeah. That you've like
society
missed out
that
on.
we live in. But it can also go the other way, which is, you know, can completely be blaming your father for not being there and go off the rails and so forth, or mother for not being there and go off the rails.
Yeah.
And you've got that kind of crossroads at a certain age that you need to take. And I think you probably had a moment in year 10 when you were being a bit of a rebel where you could have gone the other way and you've chosen to go that way, which is really cool. Do you feel like the masculine energy has affected your romantic relationships?
Yes. I feel like I've attracted guys that have very high feminine energy or like a wounded like masculine energy where they're like not what I need in life. I've always gone for guys that are just like not what I need.
Interesting. Okay,
I've attracted them on.
Don't you want them because then as your masculine energy can take over? Do you want to repress your masculine energy? You said that you did, but
I feel like when I'm in, because of the kind of guys that I've picked, my masculine energy just like skyrockets, and I just end up becoming like
even more.
Like I'm like, oh, like I don't want them to pay for anything. I don't want them to look after me. I want to be like more of the provider, which, you know, that's not ultimately what I want for the long term.
Sure.
But that's what I've attracted, guys that are a bit like
would let that happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Or are just more in their feminine energy.
Very interesting.
It's really interesting because I've never really thought about sort of the balance or imbalance of masculine and feminine energy. Tell us sort of what are the characteristics that you find. Tell us what kind of characteristics you inhabit that make your masculine energy shine through more so than your feminine energy, just for context.
I feel like now it's less so, it's more balanced, which is good. But before, when I look back on like how I used to be, because I didn't have that awareness, then I have it now. I think I just used to, it would be things like paying for things and stuff like that. I would always feel really threatened by if a guy would like want to like pay for anything. I would almost look at it as like they think that I can't look after myself.
So interesting.
Because I guess my dad hasn't been there to look after me. So if any other guy comes in and is like, oh, I can pay for it, then I'm like, I almost take it as like a threat. I'm like, hang on, but I can pay for it myself. Yeah, I used to be like that a lot.
I'm exactly the same. This is like psychology unlocked with the dad aspect too. Like that's such an interesting.
Do you have the same?
Yeah, I used to. When I was dating a lot, I used to always pay. Or not, or like always offer to pay at least. Just always be sort of independent to take care of myself. I'd like the masculine energy would shine through, but it's never really like something that I thought about. In terms of masculine, feminine energy.
So offended when that happens because it feels like
when a woman pays.
Well, no, when she's insistent that you shouldn't pay, because it feels like as a guy, it feels like you're trying too hard to get with them, and they're feeling like, and it makes you feel like they feel that you're really being pushy, trying to be with them.
Yeah, sexually. I get that.
And then on top of that as well, there's a whole aspect of masculinity and that you're a guy.
Yeah, men are the providers, right?
Yeah.
At your core, like you're supposed to provide. So
sorry, go on.
No, go on.
And then because if you go to pay as a guy, and she's like, no, you're not paying, she gets offended by it, then you're like, okay, what's going on here? But she's like, oh, I'll do it, but then she doesn't really mean it. It's like, okay, cool, I'll pay for it. But then when it gets really like you get offended by it.
Yeah, some women do, right? Yeah. So now I've become a bit more relaxed with it now, and I like let guys do what they're like. I feel like I want them to do, and what they want to do as well, like provide. So I think things have changed a lot for me now. I'm way more in my feminine energy. Nice. Especially like the last couple of people that I've dated, I've like let them do things. Like I've let you. A little bit at the beginning. I'm like,
it's like breaking those cycles, isn't it? It takes a minute.
Because I don't want to be like a damsel in distress, but I'm like, I can carry, like I've done everything myself my whole life. I'm like, I can carry my own bags, I can travel by myself, I can like lift things like, around the house as well with like around the house with the men in my family. Like if they want to do DIY, I'm like, I'm your girl. Like they call me that. My mum as well. They say that I'm more like a son than I am a daughter. Yeah. You wouldn't think it looking at me. You're like, oh, she's a model. But I like getting stuck in and like doing things. So I've had to take a bit of a backseat on the last couple of guys that I've dated and been like, okay, like let them do what makes them feel fulfilled as well, which is like provide and like look after me if they want to like take me out, and like that's their role in this, and my role is as a woman to like, you know, be my feminine.
I feel like things are changing a little bit. Like society's changing a little bit. Like there's less stigma on the guy having to pay for the woman, and the fact I think if guys insist upon it, they're seen as being a bit old-fashioned, a bit outdated.
Yeah, I think that traditional old-fashioned mindset is definitely sort of shining through now as it being sort of an older mindset than more modern, for sure. Is that something that you've seen as well?
What do you mean? Like,
as in, I think it's seen as quite a really outdated concept when guys
want to pay for things.
It's seen as kind of chauvinistic in a weird way.
I think it has now. Women are a lot more independent, but I think that I've moved through all these cycles. So I've gone from being like, I want to do everything myself, to being like, I'm gonna like, I don't know. I feel like I was like those women where I was like, okay, like, you know, it's 2023. Women can do this, women can do that. But then what are men doing? You're not leaving them with anything. So now I've worked through that really, because like it's like then they're going to be so much in the feminine energy, and then women don't like that as well. They'll be like, oh, but he's like, you know, he wants to be true. He wants to be kept, and I don't want to be with a man that wants to be kept. So I'm like, you know, you've got to take a step back. So for me, I've kind of gone full circle with it, and now I'm at a point where I'm like, I know what I want my role to be and what I want his role to be.
It's very interesting. I've been having this conversation with so many people recently, where people are getting together with their partners, male, female, 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 male, male, whatever, and trying to find someone that can fix them when that doesn't work. You've been talking about a lot, like fixing yourself and then get into a relationship, because if you get together with someone else who's broken, you're both inevitably going to just break each other even further.
Definitely.
To really work on yourself, and I feel your breaks that you take, they are like moments in time where you get a chance to like fix yourself internally and to be so self-aware that you know that you need to do that.
It
takes talent.
It really does. It's the self-awareness that is so integral to that. when you know, like, you pick and choose, like Marcus said, you pick and choose these breaks. I think that is something that not a lot of people have. Like, you might get physical warning signs that you need a break, you know, like physical burnout and whatever, but to actually take the steps to do that and look after yourself is so important.
Unfortunately, I guess it's just the way that society's set up. Like, they're like, oh, you should be achieving this, and this. Like, I have it myself. I've been saying it the whole time, like, I could be doing more. But you need to, I just feel like intuitively I know when I need to, like, take a step back. So I'm like, okay. And also, like, I have my life set up in a way where I can, which is, it's like a blessing, you know what I mean? Not everyone has that as well. So you can't really expect everyone to be able to do that.
Do you suffer from, like, anxiety or anything like that?
I used to.
Okay.
That's one of the things I've worked on.
Okay. So you've managed to kind of heal yourself in that sense.
I guess, yeah.
You guess?
Yeah, I have. Like, everyone gets a bit anxious at times. Everyone gets a bit nervous, and that's normal. Like, I feel like that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing to get nervous, because you're like, if I wasn't nervous, I'd be worried, because I'd be thinking, oh, like, I'm not going to maybe, I'm not that bothered about it. Like, if I go to a shoot and it's like econs and I'm not nervous, I'll be like, okay, like, how, you know, that means I'm not excited about it, or don't care, which is a bad thing for me, because I can get bored of things really easily. Whereas if it's like something that, like, the night before I can't sleep, then that's probably a good sign, right? Because I'm like, oh, actually, I must be really excited about this. So I don't want to completely cut out my anxiety. I think it helps. You need it to survive a little bit. But I used to be really nervous.
How did you combat that? Because for castings, for example, where you're probably most anxious, how did you used to deal with that?
I think, like, just it all comes back to being more aware. Like, the more self-aware I am, the better I can handle things. So I'm like, okay, I deal with this in this situation. I really watch myself, and then I, like, try and learn from my experiences. So, for example, like, I'm here now with you guys. If I was nervous before I got here, which I might have been a little bit, because it's something that I've only done a couple of these, so it's like, oh my god, what to expect, you know what I mean? Like, how are you guys? I've never met you before, so how are you going to be? Or, like, what's the setup going to be like, you know what I mean? But now I'm in this moment and I'm absolutely fine. I'm actually enjoying it. I'll make sure I remember this for next time I get nervous. So I'm like, actually, learn from your experiences. You really enjoyed it. So next time I'm nervous, I'll be like that much, like a little bit less nervous. And it's just gone like that from the experiences. So with experience, I think you've got to be aware.
You're an overthinker, aren't you?
A little bit, yeah.
I think a lot.
I think a lot, but I think it's good.
I think it's
No,
great.
I think that's really good, especially when you framed it in the way that you have, like taking your previous experiences as an example of how you should feel in the instance that you feel like a negative emotion, nervous, anxious, whatever, and turning it around into something positive.
Yeah. I use my overthinking as like a tool to help me, as opposed to like just sitting there and like thinking, oh my god, what if I like get in a car accident tomorrow, or like, you know, anything negative. I try like to overthink in that way.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, that's not good.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
Do you think that the steps you've taken in your career so far that have led you to this moment where you are right now, does it feel like everything you've done that's led to this point is where you want to be? Or do you feel like, because you consistently take time out and you reflect and you think you want to do something else, do you wish that you'd taken a different career path or a different life path?
No, I'm so happy with this. Yeah, I love it.
You love it?
Yeah, I do love it. I mean, there's been points where I get bored of it a little bit, but generally there's a whole picture, like a bigger picture. I know that like I have had fulfillment from this job, and like I can't complain. Like I've had so many experiences. I've gotten to travel, meet people, like work on myself within like the, you know, like have, like I said, manage my own schedule. So like I've had the abundance of like time as well. So yeah, even though sometimes I get a bit like, oh, it's a bit boring, yeah, I can't complain.
And do you think that because you've taken this career path of modelling, or let me frame the question differently, when you first wanted to get to modelling, what did you want to achieve? Because I think one of the first things I said in the first episode was, when you're doing anything in life, work out why you want to do it. What's the purpose of the thing you want to achieve? I feel like a lot of models want to become model because it's cool to become a model, not because they want to achieve any financial gain, or like, I think in life when you're going to do anything, work out why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know why you wanted to model initially?
I feel like for me, I didn't, because of my situation like growing up, and the way things were set up in my life, I didn't really have the what's the right word, like I wasn't in a position where I could think, what do I want to get out of this job? For me at that point when I started modeling, it was I was just trying to keep my head above water. So I didn't have like the
you sort of more of the financial means than anything else?
In every way, I guess, like financially, and also I mean financially maybe not so much, because I know I could have gone on to do a grad job and I think I would have been really good in corporate, so I think I always had that option there to do that. So I think financially I would have been fine, but more like with my own issues, like with myself, my childhood, I had it quite rough growing up. There's a lot of things going on at home, so I think for me I had a lot of like things that needed working on within my own mind. So I think for me it was just like every day trying to like keep my head above water. So this worked perfectly because I could go to like castings as and when I choose. Like I've never really been pushed by any of my agents to be like, you have this and you have to go, and then the job kind of works around me. My main focus in my life hasn't been my job, it's been me working on myself, and that's why it's really important for me to take the time out to like, if I need to, because I think I've had bigger goals in life where I'm like trying to get myself from one point to another as a human being. After all the trauma I had from my childhood, I guess I've just been working around that, and that's been my main focus.
Okay, so 20 years from now, where do you want to be? That's such a dumb question.
20 years from now, I guess I just want to be a bit more grounded in my own personal life, like, but with my career. Are you asking about my career or just general?
I like what you're doing there. Like, where you're going.
Personal life, just more grounded. So I guess like in a long-term relationship, married or not married, whatever, but with a long-term partner, with potentially having kids or like my own family, and then with my career, just like doing this but like getting more fulfillment out of it. So whether that be that I start something, like I said before, within the industry, something that I just feel is more fulfilling, I guess like something within this industry but where I'm helping people. That's where I get the most fulfillment, where I'm actually helping other people.
Interesting.
So something within this industry which can be quite selfish as an industry, as we know, but actually doing something within it where I can actually give back.
Cool.
Something along those lines, yeah. So I've always wanted to go into like charity or something. That's been my end goal for life. But then I'm like, actually, I need to figure out a way that I can help people within this space. I think there's something there.
I think, yeah.
There definitely
There will
is,
be,
yeah.
There will. Whether it be helping younger girls or like using modelling as a way to like help people with their confidence or anything, but something that's less about like just financial gain. Like that's boring to me now. I'm just like, well, not that I'm like a big baller, but I'm just like, you're not going to take your money anywhere with you. I want to do something that really fulfills me.
I like that.
That's so beautiful and mindful.
Yes, very mindful.
Gorgeous.
I think when I asked you the question, your first thing was you spoke about yourself.
Yeah, got to get myself grounded first.
Yeah, you speak about the money, which is very refreshing.
It is, especially in this industry. I feel like, well, maybe the creative industry is not the most lucrative, but it can be, and that's usually sort of the pinpoint to why people are here.
I think also in life, like you said it, like the money's not going with you. When you die, the money's not coming with you, honestly speaking. So with anything you're doing in life, if the money is the motivation,
It gets boring.
It gets
When I was younger it was, but that's because I needed it. I needed the money, you know, so I was like, okay, the goal, like I get booked this job, I get this much money, and it was exciting to make money. But now I've made some money, and I've seen girls that get paid so much for doing things, like especially in Dubai, like the influencers in Dubai, they'll get paid so much, or like in India, like actors and actresses, they get paid so much. In London and in like the States, it's the models that get paid more. You know, I've seen each little bit and how much people can make, and you can make a lot. But I've seen that happen now, and I'm just like, well, I've seen people that have made a lot and they're miserable. Really?
Yeah.
Miserable.
Money doesn't buy happiness.
It does not buy happiness.
It's a cliche, but it's true.
It's definitely a cliche. It's definitely true. In 20 years' time, Kez, what do you want to be?
Oh, I can't follow up that question after Shivani's beautiful answer. You joking? I don't know. I think because I'm at a point where I am working to make money, I am working to keep my head above water. I think financially more so than anything. I think in 20 years' time, I'd love to be in a space where I don't have that burden constantly there, and I'm able to sort of pick and choose my moments to take those breaks, to be in a more grounded and mindful place where that's not at the forefront of everything. You know, that I'm able to slow down and just be happy. Well, not that I'm not happy now, but sort of have my happiness at the forefront.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I think in 3 years' time,
I don't
your
think
answer
that.
will be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will be.
In what
I
way?
think you're quite a mindful person now,
Yeah.
and you're still
Thank you.
very young. So I think in 3 years' time, your mindfulness will transcend your financialness, if that makes sense.
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's not to say, you know, that finances are, you know, at the forefront constantly and it's a huge stress.
It kind of is, isn't it? Because
but I think at the moment, considering the, like, you know, political climate and stuff, it's definitely there. And I
think you moved to London by yourself, but you moved to London by yourself, and you know, it's a lot different in that sense.
It's different, yeah. And I think, it probably won't take 20 years to get there. Hopefully not, but yeah, that's where I'd like to be.
Yeah, it won't take 20 years to get there, because your mindset will shift, and you'll start thinking, you know what, I'm going to die soon. And
well, I think I'm already there. I think I was saying this to you before. I think I'm in like a weird sort of transitional phase in how my mindset is. I think COVID was a big thing for a lot of people in that sense, that it allowed people to slow down and shift their mindset. And I'm sort of unlearning from sort of around then and before then still. So hopefully, I think that's going to happen very soon.
Yeah, I think it's happening.
I think so.
I think it is.
Yeah, which is nice.
It is nice. So, it is nice.
Yeah. How about yourself, Marcus?
In 20 years' time. In 20 years' time, I'm hoping that I'm closer to. I don't want to use the word nirvana, because that's
It's a pretty word though.
It's a pretty word, yeah. But I want to be closer to peacefulness. Yeah. Not even 20 years time. I want that in 5, 6 years. I want. You're never ever gonna get to a stage where you're completely happy with yourself. And if you do get to that stage, something's wrong. So you should probably check yourself in somewhere. But but I want to always be evolving. I don't want to sit still. I want to always be evolving. For me, it's not about money, or it's never been about money. It's about just internal richness, internal wealth.
I feel like you are always evolving.
Yeah.
You are as a person. I've seen you over the years that you're always doing, there's always something new or like exciting going on.
Yeah. You said it. Life can get boring, can't it? If you keep doing the same thing, life will get boring. Life will be boring, and you'll blame everyone around you. And your life will just fall apart. So I always like to be evolving, but also it opens your mind up to different things and different ways of thinking. Yeah. Because you said it with COVID, like the human mind can be very rigid.
Yeah.
And it takes a big jolt to move it in another direction.
Yeah, and something of that caliber, like COVID, like the lockdowns that we had, was something that was way out of anyone's control. So it was that jolt that allowed people to sort of shift their mind frame to what suited them for that space, that time.
And I think this is, again, back to you taking your breaks. I think that is so key. It's something that I don't do, that I need to do, because I think just stopping and going, you know what? That's it. I'm not doing anything. And I'll come back in 2 months. I'll come back in 3 months. I'll do what I want in the meantime.
Weirdly enough, by doing that, you're actually achieving something as well, because you're just like, I've learned how to slow down, which is like a big thing, especially in our industry, because there's no ceiling of how much you can achieve, how much money you can make, how many experiences. Like, I know there's only 24 hours in the day, but there's a lot of stuff that you can, it's not you're not limited at all. No. So to be able to take that power back and be like, actually, I just want to chill for a couple of months is something, it's like quite powerful in itself, just to be like, I'm looking after myself. It's like showing yourself love as well by being like, actually, I need a bit of a break now.
What would you tell 15-year-old Shivani?
I'd tell her just to chill. I know it's going to work out. But she was such an overthinker and worrier. I'd be like, don't worry, mate. It's going to be fine, buddy. Don't worry, it's going to be okay. And just enjoy it, because there's nothing. I don't think that I've been through a lot of different experiences in life, and up until now, I mean, I'm still alive, and there's nothing that I couldn't have handled. If I knew that then, I think then I thought, oh my God, I'm going to burst into flames, or I'm going to get sectioned.
Angel.
Yeah, Angel. I'm just not I'm gonna have a breakdown, and like nothing happened. I'm fine.
Well, I feel that comes with that age as well. So there's a lot of pressure externally.
Like, what am I gonna do?
School, what are you gonna do? It's like
society.
Choose something
at that age.
Yeah,
because that's your first introduction to anything like that. You've gone from being a kid with no responsibilities. You still don't have many responsibilities at 15, but still.
It's a bit much.
It's a lot more, and then the hormones injected into that as well. It's just a whole other thing.
Oh my god, yeah. True. But yeah, not only like would I have told her like you're gonna be fine, but like you're gonna enjoy it. Like I feel like now I'm not only fine, but I'm like thriving. So I'm like actually just enjoy life.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good. Life's fun.
No one's ever said that.
No.
Really?
Thriving.
Yeah, I love life.
Wow.
You're supposed to love life, right? Like I don't think we're here to suffer. It's supposed to be a bit of both. Obviously there's going to be things that you can't control, but
they say pain is suffering. Pain is suffering. What's the Buddhist expression?
Is that what they say? I think so. Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Life is suffering.
No.
I don't know where I read that.
On everything you just said.
I know. I'm like, Marcus, where are you going with this? Life is suffering.
Do we need to talk?
No, they said life is suffering.
Okay, pain is suffering.
Yeah, but I don't think that's expression. That's obvious.
Something like that. I know what you're trying to get at. I can't think of it now on the top of my head.
But yeah, no, thriving. That's huge.
Yeah, just to like enjoy life as well. Take a step back and actually enjoy these experiences.
Yeah, and letting yourself acknowledge them as well. Because I think you could be. I've seen a lot of people in life who are thriving, who are doing amazing things, very successful, but they're just not acknowledging it. And sort of not in a humble way, but they're just kind of like, okay, let's go to the next thing, let's go to the next thing, or constantly climbing this ladder. The fact that you're taking a step back, you're acknowledging it, and really taking time to celebrate yourself is a really beautiful thing.
Oh, bless.
I love this harmony.
It's so wholesome.
Beautiful.
But how do you feel now that your career is going to end because AI is taking over and there's going to be a replica of you?
As long as you don't own the rights to it, I'll be fine. If you own the rights to the replica of me, I'll be like, Mark, I'll be on the phone to you all day. You know how I just disappeared for a few months and don't text back? There'll be none of that. I'll be texting you every day. I'll be like, what's she doing now?
Give it back.
Oh my god, I don't know.
Doesn't it scare you?
It doesn't scare me because I'm like all like, remember how I was like, oh, like whatever's meant to be for you will be for you. So I'm like, it doesn't scare me. And if for example, this might be like too like thinking so positively and a bit of an annoying answer, but if these like fake AI models are supposed to take over, then maybe the only way I would try and think of it is maybe I'm supposed to do something else. Like maybe I'm supposed to actually go out and live, and like I was saying, I wanted to do charity work. Maybe that would be my opportunity to be like, a robot can't like interact with these young people, only a human can. So maybe now I'm supposed to put myself in India and like do my charity work. I don't know.
India?
Yeah, that's where I'd do.
India?
I think so, or somewhere, but I think India I'd like to do it. Yeah, that's where my mum was born. No, not the Maldives. I'd go to the Maldives for other things. I'd go to India for the charity work. India.
These models.
Honestly,
So you're not scared by AI? Because I'm fucking scared.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I was thinking about this though. Every creative that I've spoken to about AI is obviously shitting themselves. Like it's a huge thing that is potentially going to take over the industry that we all work in. My hope is that there's enough of us who won't let that happen. I know that's really cringily optimistic, but I'm just thinking, okay, you can make a whole campaign from your laptop for free. That's fine. That would probably cost, I don't know, like 50k to produce.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I'm going with this now.
Yeah, just admit it.
Just admit you're scared.
It's hit now.
No, I am scared. I am really. I am. When I saw how this kind of imagery can be produced from a few words, it's frightening.
I get what you're saying though.
But I'm just hoping that the creative industry and the people, the physical human beings in there,
Stop it.
Don't let that happen.
There might be a divide. No, I think it's right what you're saying. There might be people like us that won't and will hold on to it, and then people that obviously will, and then I don't think it will. I think it might affect the industry to some extent.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I think a lot of, I don't know, my thought is what?
think it's
You think it's going to
over.
take over?
Do you
Yeah.
think? I think I can
Think
see
about-
corporate mindsets that are
They
all
are
about
definitely-
numbers and budgets
Yeah.
and wanting to keep the
Yeah.
money in the pockets.
They're going to love it.
They're gonna love that. I think.
But I say for example, you're Coca-Cola
Yeah.
and you want to shoot a campaign and you want to shoot it in the Saudi
Hmm.
and you want 7 models who are beautifully ethnically ambiguous, and you go to a company and you go, listen, an AI company, and you go, listen, my budget is 20 grand, go and do it for me. They can do it. They can do it in 2 days. You don't need to fly any models out there. You don't need to fly any crew. There's no health liabilities. There's no insurance to worry about. No models to worry about. No models. No only crew. No strikes. No anything. It's just like literally like, okay, this is my campaign. Here we go. There's no hassle.
No,
hassle.
you're so right, and I think it's definitely gonna cause a dent, if not more.
I think it will, but it all depends on what the consumer wants, right? So if they obviously they relate to people, so if that's what they prefer, then I think that will swing it, right? Like if
Maybe, but have you
because-
seen some of these AIs?
are they really good?
Yeah, the consumer wouldn't think like that poster over there. They could do that. AI could do that.
I saw a really cool drinks, because I used to work with a lot of drinks brands in production.
Yeah.
And I saw something really cool that took about 3 months end to end to produce our side, that was done just like within 5 seconds. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, it is going to take
Like,
over.
oh,
Okay, now it's hit me.
No, I
I'm
know.
scared.
I just thought I'd inject a bit of,
Hope.
optimism cautiously.
You're going to be the leader of a revolution, didn't I? You're going to be the leader of the revolution.
Who is?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
What, in this apocalypse? This AI apocalypse?
It will, because you can literally. When I started using ChatGPT the other day,
Yes,
and
this
this
is.
thing is
I've
just
not used it yet. I'm not
ridiculous.
interested in using
God.
it.
Who was I talking to the other day? You can like draw up legal contracts
Yeah.
just like that, like
In 2 seconds.
in 2
And
seconds.
like a whole business plan.
A whole business plan.
business
Yeah,
plans.
psychology,
Yeah, true.
Please write me a script, and it's bang.
Wow.
2 seconds. It's madness. It's absolute madness. So sorry, Shivani, your career's over.
I might be moving to
Well,
India or the
India.
Maldives.
Maldives. Moving to the Maldives. See you there.
Yeah. Should we all go? Should we go right
Yeah,
now?
just do this again over there.
Yeah, this is
Or not.
nice stuff.
Just go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll
Perfect.
work.
It might.
Cool. See you all in the Maldives. Yeah.
It's Kez who's like, oh, I don't want to pay my TV lessons.
Oh no, not the TV.
Get cut out.
That's gonna go.
I spent so long trying to reform the audio from that episode.
Shivani, do you have any last thoughts for us?
Ooh, in regards to what, just general?
Yeah.
Last thoughts. I feel like we've covered quite a lot.
We have done the most today.
We have done quite a bit.
Any last
Any
thoughts?
lasting thoughts?
I have not got a clue.
What do you want your legacy to be?
Oh my gosh, I hope that people look back on me and think that I was like a kind person.
Loving,
A
warm,
kind person, a positive.
masculine.
Not masculine, feminine. Like a kind, like, person. I think that's it.
Okay.
Ultimately, yeah, I just want to, I guess, help. And I feel like now I'll do that more, and then that will be what I'll be remembered for, helping.
So not a beautiful, tall woman. You don't want to remember as that. You remember as kind, loving, gentle.
Maybe a little bit of that as well. No, I'm joking. I feel like, yeah, more the inside,
Mm-hmm.
inner beauty. My answers have all been so
They're so, yeah.
Great.
Again,
And
Disney.
gorgeous.
Disney.
Disney, yeah.
I've been so Disney.
You've
There's
said
the
Disney.
eye roll.
Yeah. You've been doing the eye rolls.
I've just done
No, I
one.
haven't seen it yet. Oh, I
Didn't
didn't see that
see
I
one.
feel like I'm facing
Yes.
this because we're close together. I'm like facing this way, but
Yeah,
there's been a few.
We're in
Mainly at like
Mainly
myself.
me.
No, myself.
All
You know,
on.
I really myself.
I roll yourself.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Love yourself. Be gentle to yourself. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Everyone should be kind to themselves.
Absolutely.
They should.
What a lovely way to end the podcast.
Oh,
Look at us.
so wholesome.
Friends.
Are we wrapping?
We are. We are.
How do you want to end this?
We're gonna have to wrap it by going, Shivani.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you for having
First
me.
Thank you so
ever
much.
Video guest.
Wow. Thank you guys for
In a
having
funky
me. It's been
studio.
so much fun,
Yeah.
yeah.
Studio.
If 1, 2,
Three cameras.
Cameras.
3 cameras. Let's get a picture of those cameras
Look
as
at
we end
us.
the show.
What, this way?
Yeah, going this way.
Oh my gosh.
There we go. Beautiful.
Gorgeous. But thank you so much for coming. It was so lovely to meet you, have you, hear your story. It's
How do you want to end it?
fantastic. I don't know. I think we really should come up with an outro though.
Mm-hmm.
This is something.
And no.
So you said this last time. I just
You don't
and
like
no
it?
to end it as and no is just no.
It's not- you're not
It's just
feeling
not
that one, no?
happening. No.
Okay.
Oh, you could come up with a cool one.
And stop.
And stop.
Yeah.
Like and go.
Could you do that
And
for
stop.
us?
And stop.
Yeah, you have to look into this camera here.
Okay, and stop.
Perfect.